Hey, what's up, my fearless networking friends? Todd Falcone here, and freshly back from my 3-day recruiting retreat, and we had an absolute blast. Had a bunch of people at a house, and we were locked in and doing business building and being creative and coming up with ways for people to build their business. And we did a lot of actually lead calls while we were there, which was kind of cool. Almost, I don't know, I think there was only one, maybe two people in the whole house that had ever dialed leads before. And I didn't do that as a reason to say, hey, or as a means to say you should be dialing leads in order to build your network marketing business. The key thing is there's a lot of different things you can be doing each and every day to build your network marketing business. The most important thing is you're doing something, that you're actually flipping rocks over, that you're consistently doing the activities rather than waiting for something to happen. And I don't think there should ever be a time in anybody's network marketing career where you should be sitting there going, well, who am I going to talk to next? I think that's one of the worst positions you could ever be in, is be in this position where you feel like you're stuck and you have nobody to talk to. There's not one network marketer on this planet that should ever be in that situation. What does Tony Robbins say? He says, it's not that there's a lack of resources, there's a lack of resourcefulness. So, and Mark Cuban, I remember seeing him on the Shark Tank saying, the number one, in his mind, the number one quality of an entrepreneur is resourcefulness. So, you know, look, if you want something bad enough, you're going to do whatever it takes to make something happen. It's like when I've talked a couple weeks ago about pain. When the pain is bad enough, you will literally do anything you possibly can to make that pain go away, right? So, you know, when the pain becomes so fierce, you will literally pay any dollar amount, do anything just to make it go away. Now, this video isn't about pain. This video is about you becoming resourceful and doing whatever it is that you must do in order to build your network marketing business. Now, here's one thing. People ask me all the time, in fact, do leads still work? Do MLM leads still work? Well, I'm here to tell you they absolutely do. Is it something that you need to do to build your business? I'm not going to answer that. I don't know the answer to that question. If you're ever in a position where you're sitting idle and you're wondering, who should I be talking to next, then that may be a great resource. In fact, every single person in the house this weekend discovered that having a list of leads around them, in fact, we worked dated leads. I didn't even work, in fact, this list in front of me is a dated lead list. There's probably 200 or 300 people on this list that I can keep with me everywhere I go. And if I've got a 10-minute gap, a 15-minute gap, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, and I'm waiting, of course we don't want to be waiting. So instead of waiting, we want to be taking action. Key thing is constantly flipping rocks over. I do on my Monday night calls. Often we do live lead dials, and people are able to see, wow, this stuff absolutely does work. Now, I understand, and if you're watching this video, I'm not telling you need to be working leads and go against maybe what's being taught to you by your upline leaders, by people that are coaching you. But here's the thing: if you're ever sitting in a situation where you don't have somebody to talk to, you're out of business. You got to get creative. You got to get resourceful. You got to do something. Like if you had to eat and you didn't know anybody, and you moved into a new town, you didn't know a single solitary person. In fact, I did one of my Fearless Networker spotlights recently. It was a couple that moved into a new town because that was the only state that they had to move to a different state because their network marketing company isn't in every state, and they didn't know anybody there, so they did everything they could to feed themselves. I mean, they started doing meetups, and they started doing weekly luncheons, and they started doing anything that they could to go out and build their business. I don't think any of us are ever in a real situation where we don't have people to talk to, even if you don't know that many people, even if you've gone through your friends and family, or you feel like you've gone through your friends and family. I would say definitely this is a valuable resource. Whether you choose to do it or not, that's totally up to you. At this last week's event with these folks in my house, the reason I did this is to get them into an uncomfort zone, because I sat there and made phone calls in front of them, literally sitting in the living room, and then I handed them all a lead sheet, and they went into different corners of the house and they started making phone calls. We had a couple people that, I mean, in fact, one guy who was sitting over in the corner ended up getting on the phone with a motivational speaker. We actually kind of did a pseudo three-way call because I happened to be in the house and I was listening to him and had a great chat with this guy. Amazing sounding guy. I have another friend out of Canada that actually recruited somebody at that event from these dated leads. So people also asked, you know, well, do dated leads work? Yeah, we worked all dated leads all weekend. So fresh leads are great because the person's requested the information recently. But look, the reason I'm doing this video is not to say you need to go buy leads, but if you're ever in a position where you don't have people to talk to, this is one avenue you could pursue. You can go purchase leads. I've got a couple of different vendors, MLMleadstore.com. I'll actually put it in this blog post, but you'll be able to see it. These are guys that I've worked with for years. There's a couple different resources for you, and it's an option. And the only way you're going to find out, in fact, here's something, I'll say this as I end this video. One of my recruiting retreat attendees had worked leads before, and she kind of went through them and felt, oh, I just didn't even like it. It didn't, I didn't have any results with it. And then because she was committed to doing the exercise, she started calling prospects again, started calling leads, and it was a totally different experience for Ricky. In fact, I think at the end of the weekend, she probably had 4 or 5 people just from a dated lead list that were really good candidates for her network marketing business, and she had a totally different experience. So look, bottom line is, recruiting, prospecting, that's the number one. If you're not doing it, you're not in business. And if you're ever sitting at your desk wondering, what am I going to do? Gosh, I wish somebody would respond to me on Facebook. That's not a good philosophy that's going to make you a success story. You've got to go get the business. And this at least puts you in control, where if you're sitting there and you got 10 minutes or 20 minutes or an hour, you can set aside and make some phone calls. I mean, typically, even when I do live prospecting calls on my Monday night training call, I do that about maybe once every 6 weeks or so. I'm able to get through, I don't know probably 30 people per hour. So think about that just for a second. What if this was just one tiny part of your overall methodology, and you said, okay, well, I'm going to call leads for an hour a day. Well, that's 30. Let's say you don't even get through 30. Maybe it's 20. You get through 20 people a day times 5 days a week. That's 100 a week. That's 5,200 different exposures in a year. I can't imagine that you wouldn't recruit somebody into your network marketing business, and how much more skilled would you become in the process? So yes, leads do work. I'm going to give you some resources you can gather. And if I can find this video that Sandra did, I'm going to throw that into this blog post as well, because she literally sponsored somebody on the spot. It was pretty cool. It was exciting. So anyhow, thank you for watching. We will see you on another video here somewhere soon. Have a good day.